Alright, so this is a quick little video talking about intervals of increase and decrease. And so you'll kind of use this the question that you'll have in your homework looks similar to this one on the left. And I think the biggest thing to tell you about this is that when you're looking at intervals of increase and decrease, and when you're defining them, you use your x values. You talk about this in terms of your x. And that's counterintuitive because when we look at these graphs, we're looking at them going up and down because we're looking at coming from, let's say from this location right here, and we're coming down right here to that spot right here. So we see that this would be called an interval of decrease because it's coming down. But the problem is that as you're looking up and down, you normally look at your y values, but in actuality, you're going to tell your answer in terms of x. Because remember, x is my independent variable. It's my variable that controls everything. So as I start from the left and I go to the right, my first interval that I have is negative infinity to negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to draw some lines in here to make some separations, and then we can talk about it, okay? So we have that line right there, and we have that line right there. It's drawn a little bit off. So from negative infinity on the x, right, because I'm coming from negative infinity here, to this guy right here, which is negative 2, my graph is decreasing. In this interval right here, I pick it back up at negative 2. So at negative 2 is like this spot I jump over. And then from negative 2 to positive 4, so negative 2 to positive 4 on the x-axis, I am increasing. So that would be an increasing interval, whereas this was a decreasing. And then at this point, at positive 4 to positive infinity, remember I'm looking at the x-axis, so positive 4, continue out to positive infinity, I am a constant. So what this graph does for me is it gives me all three. So this is called a constant interval. It doesn't increase, it doesn't decrease. All right, so let's take a look at this next one over here and talk about intervals of increase and decrease. So let's grab my little line tool real quick again. Make it a little bit thicker this time. And let's make these separations. These spots that I'm drawing are called the vertices, or the maximums and minimums. Not the vertices, the maximums and minimums. So our first interval that we have is negative infinity to negative 3. So negative infinity on the x-axis to negative 3. That would be an interval of increase. Then we go from negative and 3, and we go right through the origin. We come down here to this low point, which is positive 3 on the x-axis, and that would be an interval of decrease. And then we pick back up at positive 3, and we go to positive infinity, and that would be an interval of increase. So increase, decrease, increase. So that video takes care of intervals of increase and decrease.